Hi, everybody, and welcome to I Fucking Love Whiskey. I'm Andrew Pierce, and I fucking love whiskey. As always, I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Joseph Limbaugh.
Hello, I'm Joseph Limbaugh. I fucking love whiskey. That's why I'm here. And of course, we have national treasure of Canada, Rebecca Northan.
Hi, everybody. I also fucking love whiskey.
This is
a Canadian way.
An awesome fact that I found out about you when you were talking about peated whiskeys online, and I was like, "What? You like whiskeys too?" And so we had to have you as a guest.
I had to accept. My very first whiskey experience, I was at a girlfriend's house on Christmas Eve, and I was so sick. I had the worst cold, and she said, "Oh, I know what I'll do for you." And she made me a Neo-Citron and put a shot of Laphroaig in it, which I drank and then was knocked unconscious for 18 hours.
And then you were better.
I was better. I woke up in the morning, I felt amazing.
Yeah. No, whiskey is a cure for the cold if you get it early enough.
I woke up a Scotch drinker. I didn't think I was. Yeah, I don't drink it with Neo-Citron anymore.
One would hope not.
Because doesn't seem entirely prudent, but yeah, there you go.
But for the occasional nap, why not?
We do not endorse the mixing of those two substances.
No.
We do not endorse that on the show.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Hey, but why don't we start? Because we can continue talking while we have a whiskey in our hand.
Okay.
That's smart.
That works out for me.
Andrew's smart.
Always thinking. I'm always thinking.
And I'm easily sidetracked, so keep us on. Are we opening this one first?
Yes, we're opening the Laphroaig. So here's a situation, is that you cannot ship alcohol to Canada, apparently, especially not Ontario, legally. But at the time when I tried to go to UPS and have it shipped as just perfume gram transport, they wouldn't let me do that either. It was still a prohibited substance. So the only thing I could do was order from the LCBO, the lovely Liquor Control Board of Ontario. And there's lovely people there, highly efficient government agency. And so we don't have exactly the same bottles today, but we do have a Laphroaig, a Highland Park, and an Ardbeg, each of us. The Ardbeg 10-year-old is the only one that we have in common between the two, but we will get in there as well. Mine is over here somewhere. So we'll get there.
Look at this beautiful box I'm going to open.
Yeah.
Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, so this is what I was going to tell you. You put in the order to my local LCBO.
Yeah.
That's the, I don't even know.
Control Board of Ontario.
Thank you. And so, so I got to, because it was a phone order, an online order, I got to pull in behind the liquor store, ring a bell, get back in my car. A lady opened the door. She's wearing a full face visor. I gave her my name because I said, "Oh no, I can't find the order number." But I gave her my name. And the moment I gave her my name, she said, "Ooh, I know which order is yours." And then she went and got this big box and came out and she said, "Wow, ooh la la." I said, "Is it really good?" She's like, "This is a great order." So
I wish I had recorded that.
It's a good way to start. It made me even more excited about meeting with you guys because
Excellent.
The lady at the liquor store was impressed.
And our Highland Park is going to be the Magnus. But anyways, we'll get there soon enough. Our first whiskey, if you want to start opening and pouring.
I'll do it like this. And this is where I reveal to you that, guys, I actually opened this one immediately when I got it home. So I've already had some.
You needed some medicine. I get it.
You're the perfect person to be on this show.
Am I?
You are. You really are. Did you get the little booklet out of there? Because the cool thing about Laphroaig is it has a little booklet, and if you sign onto their website, you didn't get one? I might have an extra one I can give you. You can own a plot of land.
Square foot of Laphroaig bog.
Yeah, you don't legally own it, but you own it.
And if you go to the distillery, they'll give you a dram as their lease back of the square foot.
That's amazing. That's so fun.
Yeah, and I believe they take you out to your square foot of land and show it to you, like walk you out there, or no? Do they?
I don't know if they didn't walk us out there. They just have a bunch of rubber boots because you need those to go out into the bog because it's usually very sloggy. It's a sloggy.
Yeah.
It is sloggy.
And you go by the coordinates on the phone and you kind of get to your plot. And
you're 12 inches by 12 inches. That's amazing.
You stand
I don't have proper fancy whiskey glasses.
Tumbler will do in this situation. You're having
I
Laphroaig
did-
Select at 40%.
So but I made sure I have 3 different glasses so that I don't get confused.
Don't mix them up. Very nice.
Yes.
Oh.
Props, guys. Props.
That's like my grandmother's glasses, that fine line.
Nice.
That's pretty much, you could point to anything in my house and that's the first part of the sentence. Oh, that's like my grandma's lingerie drawer.
Oh,
It'll
dear.
be like that.
Oh.
Grandma was hot.
Well, I guess.
I have no doubt.
Yeah.
And we're having the Laphroaig Triplewood bourbon cask, quarter cask, and European sherry oak casks combined in a 48% no age statement bottle.
So this is 3 different casks. These were in 3 different casks and then combined together. Now Laphroaig is what got me started on scotches. This is my first scotch was the standard 10-year Laphroaig, and I was like, wow, which is unusual because this is like that once again this is super peaty stuff, very very. I feel like people like regular Scotch drinkers don't come into this, or not regular people don't come into this and drink it and go like, yes, but
They don't, eh? I'm for sure not regular because the peatier, the better.
You're not regular. You're not regular. Yeah,
it.
You're one of
I was
us.
the same
Rebecca.
way. The Lagavulin was the first one I had, and it was just a mind-blowing experience where I didn't understand how a fluid could taste like this. So I became a big fan of the peat.
All right.
Now you're holding. Why are you holding the thing there? I haven't even poured yet. You guys, you're way ahead of me. Oh my god! I thought there was like a ritual, like we unthing and dude. No, did you? Are you 100% pre-poured?
Yes.
Yeah,
and that's why this is on top, is so it's collecting a lot of the vapors, so we can take it off and know.
You don't have to do any of this stuff.
You don't have to.
This is
no,
not...
but I just think maybe some of your viewers like a little foreplay.
They probably do.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Okay, so here, I'm holding in the vapors, guys.
Okay.
That works.
Wait for a few minutes.
Less than maybe your hand will smell like scotch, so bonus.
If I'm lucky.
Throughout the day. Yeah. Oh man,
so
that's Laphroaig.
I've never done a whiskey tasting. Like, are we supposed to swirl and look at the legs like with wine?
Yeah,
and
you could do all that. Yeah, sure.
all that jazz.
You can do those things. Look at those.
We don't look at the legs so often because I think it's mainly due to how much alcohol there is. And
yeah, now your colors are quite different.
Yeah, I think the sherry cask is influencing this a little bit more golden.
Right.
Well, it looks like
reds.
Andrew and I have different colors, but that's just because we have different cameras. Because these are because we have the same liquid in this. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I didn't do a color balance on my camera.
Yeah, me neither. Ooh, that's quite perky for a Laphroaig. That is quite like I generally expect a Laphroaig to hit deeper and lower. This has got some sparkly stuff going on.
It's got nice high notes in there. Yeah. What about you, Rebecca? What's yours like?
Tastes like booze.
Best tasting notes ever. To the point.
I'm easily, guys, I'm easily the least sophisticated Scotch drinker you're gonna have on your show. Tastes like booze, gets me drunk. That's all. I went on a wine tasting once, and after the first talk, I was just like, less talk, more pouring.
Yeah, but that's wine. It's just grapes. Like,
yeah,
it's not Scotch. Scotch has stuff going on. Wine is like, oh, this is another wine.
Yeah,
love this stuff.
But I think this was also my first Scotch ever, and then like I'm just hooked on the peat. So anything that doesn't have a peaty edge to it, I'm like, sort of wimpy. Tastes like water.
I wish we could have gotten Rebecca some Octomore. That would have been great.
Well, that was what the box we had at the previous show was the box I was going to send to her. It had the Octomore. Which is the world's peatiest whiskeys. The Bruichladdich Company peats their barley up into the hundreds. 167, I think they did 200 and something. One, October 6 was 234 or something like that.
What are these numbers in reference to?
That's the parts per million of phenol that coat the barley as it's dried in the kiln. So they put peat in there and they burn it. Most whiskeys, like Ardbeg is about 50, Laphroaig and Lagavulin maybe 40 to 50 in that kind of range. This was in the hundreds. It's just off the charts peated, and it's a very different experience because it's not Isla peat. It's actually more from around Inverness that the Bruichladdich Company gets it. I'll go deep. I
like it. No, but can I ask questions?
Certainly.
the peat, the flavor of peat, will it be quite different depending on what part of Scotland it's from?
Yeah, it's basically whatever plant matter was there growing that has been compressed and compressed over time, that form the flavors that you get out of the organic molecules that come out when you burn it.
Now, how much do the dead bodies influence the flavor? That's what I want to know. Those bog people, those leathery bog people. Like if you're really lucky, you find like a chunk of bog person at the bottom of your peat.
Was it Kelly Lohman that brought up the bog people? I feel like Rebecca and Kelly would really get along.
No, it was Amanda. It was Amanda Troop who brought up the bog people.
Oh, well, Rebecca and Amanda would also get along a lot.
I think so.
I try to get along with people.
They're two also amazing improvisers. Yeah,
Nice.
you would like them. I would you know what? I would love to see a show with Rebecca and Amanda and Kelly. Like I would love to see the three of them do a show. Like
set it up, produce it.
Okay.
We can do it online even right now.
Yeah.
That forever ago, I remember buying a bottle of scotch strictly based on the name. It probably, if we Googled it, or you might even know of it, you'd be like, that's the worst scotch that you could have got. But it was literally just called the Peat Project.
There are a number of ones like that. The Peat Monster, Big Peat. There's a bunch of companies that take product from Isla and are putting it together in kind of vatted or blended ways that are exciting.
And do they get to still call it scotch at that point, or does it have to be, how does that work?
Okay, so there's a bunch of designations.
Yeah, go deep, go deep.
Behold, Scotland.
There it is.
The basic rule is it has to be matured in an oak cask in Scotland for 3+ years, and it can only be made of, to be called malt, it has to be barley, water, and yeast. It can be called Scotch malt whiskey, is with barley only. Scotch grain whiskey can be with any of barley, corn, wheat. Those can be the ingredients they put in the mash tun to make the crappy beer. And single malt are from a single distillery. They may still be vatted together. Many casks may be put together to create a single malt. In fact, the Laphroaig is a single malt, even though it's 3 different casks. It comes from a single distillery. Vatted together, and then single cask is just they've opened one cask and they put that cask in there. So
what does select mean?
Yeah, they selected them.
The best?
I think they're trying to go with that.
At what point do they select? That's my question. Do they select, like, is it after they've tasted them on this? It's like this barrel's really good. This batch is really good. So this is select. Is that how that works? Or
they may be. I don't know specifically what select means in this particular case. But yeah, they basically bring the barrels in, and the master distiller will taste them. The malt master will taste them and
right?
Figure out.
Good gig.
Except they spit it out. They do not swallow. They just taste it, because if they were drinking all day, that by the end of the day, the batches they make would be wildly different. So
they would have a different name for sure.
Yeah.
And by the end of the year, they would be dead.
That could be too.
And it does say hand selected oak casks. So maybe that's what, I don't know. And so when on your bottle where it says triple wood, what is that like? Does that mean first we did oak, then we did pine, then we did ash? What does that mean? Triple wood.
Well, they would all be oak. It's just they're going to be a combination of the bourbon barrels are going to be American oak, what they call American oak, and then there's European oak, which is generally sherry oak. So casks that held sherry with European oak, but they could also be wine, but this one specifically says sherry. And then there's a quarter cask, which is a smaller cask, which will age the whiskey faster because there's more contact with the wood for all of the whiskey.
Great.
Then they mix those 3 together, and then it's triple wood.
Yeah.
Triple wood. How did you come to be so well versed?
I have some people at work that formed a whiskey society, and they're crazy smart about whiskey. And then, of course, I've been to Scotland 3 times now. I was going to be there right now. This would have been my last full day in Scotland.
Where would you be? Where would you be today?
Yeah, where would you be?
I would be in Glasgow.
Drink a toast. Oh, so good.
At the Pot Still.
Oh.
Crazy whiskey bar in Glasgow that has just an insane amount of whiskeys. So
just
visiting them and
I'm
talking.
so naive. I'm so naive about all this. So whiskey whiskey's like the umbrella term.
Mm-hmm.
If Scotch is a whiskey
but
that comes from Scotland.
Right.
Irish whiskey, Ireland, but still under this umbrella
of whiskey. Yeah.
Where does bourbon fit? Is bourbon under this whiskey umbrella?
It is also a whiskey, yes.
But it's crappy.
Well, it tends to be sweeter.
It's so nasty.
51% of it has to be corn.
Yeah, that's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true. We've had some
good bourbons.
Yeah, we've had some good bourbons.
They just tend to be sweeter.
I always feel like bourbon tastes like there's like a backdrop of burnt sugar to me, where I'm like, I don't like it.
Yeah,
it's not for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then in Canada, rye
whiskey.
Rye falls underneath. So my grandma was a rye drinker.
Yeah, there wasn't growing up. There wasn't a lot of good Canadian rye. I remember that.
Well, my grandma was a 5-star rye. Do you remember 5-star?
I do.
I remember it because as a kid, so you would get the bottle, and right on the front of the bottle there was like, it looked like a sheriff's badge. It was made of plastic. Gold plastic was like glued on the front. 5-star whiskey. And when my grandma got a new bottle, she'd pull the star off, and then my brother and I would fight over it.
Yeah. Which was sport for her.
Listen, guys. Sport for her. I mean, when I think back to like, what were some of my toys as a kid? It was like my 5-star rye whiskey sheriff's badge, and then I kept my marbles in a Crown Royal bag.
Yes, as did I.
And a lot of gamers keep their dice in Crown Royal bags. That's very like in the nerd community. Like Crown Royal is like, oh, it's my dice bag. I got a gazillion dice.
My dice bag. I mean, I love the nerd community. Let's see it. You have it right there?
No, I got a bunch of dice though, sitting on my desk. I have this nerdy map back here. I'm wearing like a Dungeons and Dragons shirt. Like I'm,
It's hot.
I know it is.
It's true, man.
It wasn't for a long time, but now it is.
The geeks shall inherit the earth. No, it's happening. It's happening. Ever since COVID hit, my friends that are like the technology nerds slammed. They're so busy. Like, here it is. It's happening. I knew it in high school. I was like, never mind the jocks.
Your mouth to the flying spaghetti monster's tentacles, Rebecca.
Right? I just want our alien overlords to like, guys, the experiment is clearly not working. Just end it. I mean, is that too dark?
I mean,
it's a little dark.
It's pretty dark.
Is it though?
Depends on what the ending is. Like, do they,
Well, or whatever you believe in, like not Ganesh. Who's the guy? Who's asleep? Who's asleep? And the universe is the lotus flower.
Cthulhu?
No, it's not Cthulhu. Oh my God!
I don't know much, but I know it's not Cthulhu.
Vishnu.
Vishnu?
Yeah, Vishnu
is
asleep. So Vishnu is asleep, and when he's sleeping, a lotus flower blooms in his belly button, and that's the current universe. And there's actually like a set number of like 537,000 years. And then he wakes up and the lotus flower goes. And then we wait for him to fall asleep again for a new universe.
Well, we don't wait for him to because we don't exist.
Well, we don't exist anymore. Time for that guy to wake up. He's got to wake up.
Yeah.
Like, dude, your dream is going sideways right now. Anyway, let's drink more scotch.
Let's talk like this. That makes me drink.
Yeah.
Happy thoughts.
Oh, man, are we sciencing this?
I should have asked in advance, what's the tone? Do we avoid?
No, it's wide open.
There are no rules, Rebecca. There are no rules.
There's only whiskey.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Oh, what are you doing? I don't have a dropper.
Oh, well, you can just use a straw or you can use your finger to just.
It's gonna be my finger, guys, because you know that I'm not super hygienic during this pandemic.
Yeah, we know.
We've talked about it.
The whiskey will kill any germs you drop in there.
I'm just gonna wait and see what's going on before. Let's see what Andrew says. Of course, yours might be completely different too, Rebecca, because you have a different one.
So how many drops of water did you put in?
I just put in 1 drop of water because you can always add more water. You can't take it out. So add it slowly and see what.
And is the idea that the drop of water like opens the bouquet?
It actually does that. It pushes the alcohol molecules further apart, which lets more of the aroma come out of the. Or then the taste come out of the drink.
Oh, so there is some science there.
I love that. I feel like you said that a bit sarcastically, Rebecca. And honestly, like I would be right there with you, like maybe even like a couple of years ago. But like after tasting scotches with Andrew, like a drop of water can alter the flavor of a scotch entirely.
Okay,
so that it's like a different beverage. Like it's amazing to me. It doesn't always do that, but
became so smooth with this.
I think it
really helped it.
Because it does have a little bit of a bite to it, right? When it's just straight. Okay, I'm dipping my finger in my glass of water.
I'm gonna put a little more in because
in a completely hygienic way, since this is your own finger, attached, and you've washed your hands.
Is it?
We hope.
Do you have someone else's finger there?
Listen, what happens off camera is my business.
Fair.
Okay,
that's fair.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So for me, just adding 1 drop of water took the edgy sort of bite off of my tongue, and it moved the experience up into my nose a bit more. Like it moved from tongue to nose. That's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird.
It's always interesting. Sometimes it doesn't really change it much, and sometimes it alters it completely. And sometimes in a bad way, I find. But
yeah.
Well, I've never been able to do any kind of scotch on the rocks. I am completely disgusted by making it cold.
No,
it actually makes me a bit gaggy, and then as the ice melts, it just ruins it.
Yeah, it continues to dilute it. So you're doing an uncontrolled science experiment in your glass. The cold, I think
uncontrolled. I
put uncontrolled. Yeah, it's wild. I put ice cubes in bourbon because it does knock down the sweetness when it's cold like that. So you can get two more of the other flavors.
Bourbon is disgusting. So you might as well make it cold so you can just shoot it.
Like I occasionally like a good old fashioned. Like I would like an old fashioned or a whiskey sour, something like that with a bourbon. Like that's not, those are good. I do
love an old fashioned. So there's a bar in Calgary. I'll have to look up the name.
Calgary, Alberta. Yeah.
They have turned the old fashioned into performance art.
Okay.
So when you order an old fashioned, first of all, they have like 27 of them, but they actually wheel a giant oak barrel to your table. And then they have different blocks of wood.
They force you in it.
And they push you in it. And they're like, we want you to have empathy for the bourbon, so get in. That's not what happens. So they have like a piece of oak, they've got a piece of cherry, they have different woods, and then they have a blowtorch. So they mix whatever you're having, and they also like twist the orange peel and the citrus zest kind of like squirts into the glass, and they rub it around but before they pour anything at all into the glass, they blowtorch the wood of your choice, get it burning, turn the glass upside down, and they capture the smoke of the wood inside the glass.
That's awesome.
I have no idea if it makes any difference at all, but it is
great.
An amazing performance.
I kind of want that. What bar was that?
Great.
It's what is it called? It's in the lobby of the Marriott Hotel, right across from the Calgary Tower. I'm gonna look it up.
Well, you know what? We'll just put it on down here. The information will be down there. What? We haven't done that in a while, Andrew.
Yes, I know.
You've been trying to avoid it, haven't you? Because you have to look it up and put the. Well, I'm sorry, I opened the can of worms again.
I'm just teasing.
We're not gonna. We can only do it once per show. We'll do that. Well, once per show, you get information. After that, you're gonna have to look it up yourself. Rebecca's looking it up right now.
I'm looking it up because I'm a bit of a grandma that way.
Ooh. Well, I appreciate it because that'll help. I don't have to look it up while I'm doing the editing then.
So while that's happening, I will point to this map that I have.
Contest.
Once again, I always put a map up.
Yeah, what's going on there?
I put a nerdy map up from a game of some sort, and then if anyone can guess what it is, I will send them a copy of the game that I designed, Postcard Dungeons.
I know exactly what that is. That's a map of a beehive. That's like a honeycomb map, and you have highlighted the pods with the best honey.
Man.
It's called 118 Empire.
Okay.
118 Empire is the name of the place.
There you go.
There's a place in Portland, Oregon, Huber's, which is like an old bar in downtown Portland, Oregon. That's under a building. It used to be a speakeasy.
Love it.
And they do Spanish coffee, and it's that same sort of thing. They wheel out a cart and they light it on fire, and it's like they do all the pouring, and like, you know, it's cocktail sort of stuff, and it's like a whole performance.
I love it. I mean, I've gotten to the point where if there isn't fire involved in the cocktail I've ordered, I'm not interested anymore.
It's a good way to
some matches here.
It's a good way to mitigate the amount you're drinking, I think, is to create.
Well, yes, when it requires a 15-minute performance art before you can have your drink.
It slows you down a bit. Slows you down a bit.